Good morning, folks. Welcome back to Melanson Creek Farm. We are up with the sun out here at the garden, getting as much done as we can today. It's supposed to get up to the high 80s today, mid to high 80s, and for the first week in April. And then next week we're going to have a low back down in the 30s. So trying to get as much done today as we can. I got the squash set out here in our squash bed. I got those planted about 2.5 feet apart. Might be a little close together once they start growing, but as usual, I planted too many seeds. We had almost 100% germination on those old squash straight necks that we got, so I want to get as many in here as we could, so kind of got them offset. And then we're also going to be growing vertically here with our squash and zucchini like we did last year. Here in our zucchini bed, we've already got some of our companion flowers planted on this end and that end. We've still got to go back in with some on our squash bed, but here's our zucchini. We're going to get those in the ground next. All right, folks, well, we're down to our last zucchini plant, and you can see how these seed blocks did. A lot of the roots continue to grow on through into the next seed blocks. They didn't really air prune like some of the other veggies and herbs and flowers did. Not sure if I'm going to start the seed. I'm not sure if I'm going to start the squash and zucchini early in these seed blocks like I did this year, next year. They direct seed just fine. I've never tried this method before, so I wanted to try it, and they've done real well. But as you can see, I mean, we've got male flowers already starting to develop. On the squash over there, I've seen a couple female flowers, and you could see little pods of squash already forming. When I'm getting these blocks off like this, you know, I'm just having to be real easy. I don't want to disturb the roots too much, but I'm just taking this and setting it right there, and then I'm mounding the dirt up around it. Using this method instead of digging a hole. I'm trying to keep it elevated a little bit and then mound the dirt up around it here. Sorry for the camera work, folks. I'm trying to hold it with one hand and do this with the other hand. So, but you get the gist of it there. I'll come back and tidy that one up. But got the rest of our zucchini in. Again, I use the same method as I did on the squash, kind of offset it there, and we've got them about 2.5 feet apart. So that's going to be it for this bed. I got to go back into that bed with some companion flowers and herbs. All right, folks, well, we're up here where we planted our onions and our carrots, and we're going to peel back the veil here and see how we're looking. We definitely got some onions coming up, sprouting for sure. It's been a week. Onions are looking really good. I'm seeing a few carrots starting to pop, and then even more down this way. So it's time to leave the cardboard off. We're starting to get some carrots popping. You don't want to leave that covered up too long. Once you start seeing a little bit of the green coming up, take it off and just still keep it watered really good. We're going to come back in here with some companion crops today. We've got some more of the marigolds to plant, and then some cilantro, some chives, and some dill. So stick with us. Now over here on this side, the onions is doing really well. You can see there's a carrot, some carrots, there's another one getting a little leggy. That's another reason I wanted to pull these off. So we're going to come in here with some direct seed on some dill. We didn't do very well with our dill starting it indoors, so we're going to try to just direct seed a little bit of this kind of in between that. I'm going to sprinkle it out, and then we'll thin it out as it starts to come up. I'm gonna just come back in here with some of these seed blocks that never did germinate and sprinkle it back over top where I direct seeded this deal. Now watch this. These seed blocks that I'm breaking up that never did germinate, once they get in this bed, watch them germinate and they'll start popping up, and I have all kinds of stuff growing in here. All right, folks, we're down here in this last bed getting it prepped for our herbs that's going to be going in. We're going to go ahead and set the herbs in here. The tomatoes and the peppers, not quite where I'd want them to be just yet. The tomatoes have got at least one set of true leaves, but you need to at least wait till they have at least 2 sets before you try to transplant them. These San Marzanos, the plants are still really small. They're a couple of inches already, but I just really want to wait for those second and even maybe third set of true leaves to come in before I try to transplant them. I've never worked with tomatoes like this before, so this is going to be new, and I really don't want to do anything that would mess up these growing. So we're going to try to take every precaution we can just to make sure before we transplant them. All right, we're going to put some basil on both ends of the bed. I'm going to go ahead and set me up. I got 4 in that one block right there, so that'll be good for this end. And then we're going to set some out here on this end. Then we're going to go in with some thyme right here along this side. We'll set a few of these out. And then along this edge, we're going to do oregano. And these, when I seeded these, I'll show you what they look like. So there's several there within each block. So when I start to plant these, I'm just going to, just lightly break apart this block just a little bit, just to loosen it up. And then I'm going to set it in the ground and plant all around it. And then once they start coming up, if it's a little thick, then I'll start thinning them out. Tell you, this purple dead nettle has just took over our yard this year. Now, a lot of folks claim that these are good. You can dry this stuff out and then make teas out of it. Personally, I've not tried it. Yeah, I don't know. With a name like purple dead nettle, I'm not sure if I'd be trying it or not, but there's folks that do it. Twine and Sage, I'll link her video down in the description. She does a lot of this herbs and drying out and making stuff. She's really good. I encourage you to go watch some of her videos as well. All right, folks. Well, we've got all of our basil down through here on the edges. Our oregano there, and then basil down on this end. Thyme and oregano in down here as well. So these are really good companion herbs for your tomato. And like I said, it'll be another probably 4 weeks, the first weekend in May, that will be the next above ground planting time. And by then, the tomatoes ought to be ready to go in. And we've got a special design trellis that we're going to be putting down here for these tomatoes. So stay tuned for that. All right, folks, we're going to end the video right there. I appreciate you joining us here today at Melanchthon Creek Farm, as this is our day 3 above ground planting. We got some more videos coming out that we're going to be sharing with you about some more planting. Of course, our melon patch here, we've got some redesign on that I'm looking at. We're waiting on the right dates to be planting those. But we got some more flowers that we're going to be planting over here in our pallet planters. So join us for that video. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Y'all take care.